Dheeraj, you're not audible.
My bad. As we were discussing, 400 we adjusted against CGST liability. Balance 350 when it is there. Now we know from the category number 4 that it can be adjusted against IGST. Yes. So we adjusted against IGST. Okay. Now coming back to SGST input credit, we had the total of 1050. So out of that 1050, 560 is adjusted against SGST liability. The balance 490 cannot be adjusted against IGST because of the rule that we have discussed. So that amount will be carried forward to the next period. Yes.
Got it. Yeah.
So these amounts, when we deduct from the output liability that we had calculated, we get 0 CGST, 0 SGST, 850 IGST payable final payment as final payment or final tax liability.
So this 850 IGST it is paid to central government, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So any questions, please, on this?
No. So just to get confirmation for previous question which you had given, the answer was 102521. Is that correct?
102521. Do you mean the tax?
The 18%. 18%. Yeah, the tax.
No, that should be 110081.
110081.
Yeah, you're doing some mistakes there. Just verify those with my answer, not a problem. I'll share the file, no problem. You do that verification and see where you are making the mistake and make sure that you are not making the mistake again. Yeah, please.
I think this is the first step only I am going wrong with it. First step. Let me see.
Yeah, just be careful there. Be careful there. Okay. Now, if no other questions, let me.
Dheeraj, as the thing, we also have to write the answer, right? I think that is one thing which we should not miss. Right?
Yeah.
The tax liability for this is SGST 0, CGST 0, and IGST 850. I think that's important.
That's a very good point. Now that you have pointed out, I had forgotten totally to say this again. See, the formats I'm not following at all when we are discussing here. I'm totally concentrating on the understanding part, concept part. Format of the answer can change according to every individual. Whatever suits you, go for it. And absolutely right, a final sentence, the answer that we get, we should always write it in sentence as a conclusion. That is absolutely good for a teacher to look at. Now, but the formats, as I have made 3-column tables, 4-column tables, but if you feel like, you can change it also, no problem at all. Now whatever suits you, go for it. So be a little flexible in that, because not every question will be similar to what we have practiced. Some other type of question may also be there covering the same concepts, but the question type will be different. There probably we will have to come up with our own structure of answer. So try to make your own tables, think about it, how to present and all. I'm pretty sure that you will come up with good presentations. Yeah. Okay. Quickly moving to a question that I have for you. Please solve this, and we'll wind up once you have solved this, and we'll continue maybe later in the maybe 9:30, somewhere around that time. Okay, I'll see. So here is the question.
Dheeraj, could you please solve that last 7th question? You can share that so that we can practice.
Sure. The Dheeraj one, right?
Yeah, Dheeraj.
I'll solve that. No problem. I'll solve that.
Thanks.
So here is the question. The first CGST and SGST credits are 800 and 1200. We are now 2000 liters we are manufacturing. Normal loss is 250. Per liter selling price is 15 rupees. Goods sold within state is 850. Interstate is 750. Our stock transfer to other state is 400. Tax rate, CGST is 6%, SGST is 9%, and IGST is 15%. Please calculate the final tax liability.
Dheeraj, is it 865 IGST?
Give me 1 second. 865 you said, right? No. Let me just share my screen. Give me 1 second. Okay. Just verify your answer, no? Here.
It are 6, 9, and 15, right?
6, 9, and 15. Yes, that's correct. So is your output liability fine?
11 to. How come this is wrong? 11 to 50. 37, 35. Your this rate is around 12,750. It's 11,250 for me. 750, right?
So
This total SGST, you check this. I think this is there is wrong. This one is wrong for you. SGST, you check it. I think you copied. It should be 11,250. Instead of 12,750, it should be 11,250, right?
No, it's correct. Even I got the same answer what Dheeraj got.
Oh, I know.
All are formula driven only.
No, my mistake.
Yeah, no problem.
I will tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Anybody stuck at any point, please? If not, before we wind up, a small question. We can quickly finish that off. We'll finish that off, then we'll wind up. Is that okay?
Got the answer.
Yes, great. Yeah. So quickly moving to another question. If you remember the concept of composition levy, so there was one calculation of aggregate turnover, yes, to check if what do you say, assessee is whether eligible for aggregate turnover or not. So if you remember, the limit was 1.5 crores. Yeah. If the turnover limit is within that, then he's eligible for the composition levy. So composition levy, what it does is it gives some facilities to the assessee. One is there are some slightly lower rates applicable on the turnover rather than on each selling price and all that. And another benefit is, slightly lesser, returns and all that formalities are a little lesser for the composition levy assessees. Now, as I said, 1.5 crore is the limit. Here is a question which is asking us to determine whether the assessee is eligible for the composition levy or not. So we will calculate the aggregate turnover. If it is less than 1.5 crores, then he will be eligible. Very simple question, very small also. So Jafar of Assam provides the following information for the preceding year, financial year 2020-21. You are required to find out the aggregate turnover for the purpose of eligibility of composition levy scheme and determine whether he is eligible for composition levy scheme or not for the financial year 2021-22. So for the past year, the information is provided. For current year, we have to decide whether he is eligible for the composition levy or not. The first item given is value of taxable outward supplies out of above 10 lakhs was in the course of interstate transaction. Now, 50 lakhs is such sale which is outward supplies. Interstate is 10 lakhs, intrastate is 40 lakhs. It does not matter if it is interstate or intrastate, everything will be included for the calculation of aggregate turnover. Yeah, it does not matter whether it is intrastate or intrastate, everything will be included. So the amount you will include is 50 lakhs. Now, value of exempt supplies, which includes 30 lakhs, it was received as interest on loans and advances, 70 lakhs. Now, interest on loans and advances, is it a supply?
No.
No, right? Obviously no. Supply is where you are providing some goods, you are charging some money. Loans and advances is not a supply. It might be a supply for the bank. That is a whole different scenario. But us receiving interest on some loans we have provided is not actually supply, because it is not even our business. Now, 30 lakhs will be deducted from the 70 lakhs for the calculation of aggregate turnover. and the final amount that will be included will be 40 lakhs. Yes, any questions please in this item? Okay. Value of inward supplies on which he is liable to pay tax under reverse charge, 5 lakhs. Should it be included, anybody?
No.
No. The reason is very simple. Inward supplies is you purchasing certain things. When you are calculating your turnover, how can you include your purchases? Turnover is sales, right? So obviously your purchases or inward supplies will not be included. Make sense?
And reverse charge is part of the turnover, so it should not be included. That's what I understand.
Yeah. Correct. So going forward, value of exports. Value of exports is 5 lakhs, which will be included. So somebody might get confused here. Okay, let me just clarify that. Exports is actually not taxable under GST. If export is provided as 5 lakhs and the question asks us to calculate GST payable will be nil. No GST payable on exports. However, while calculating aggregate turnover for the purpose of determining eligibility for composition levy, export is considered as a sale only. Even if the tax on it is nil, still it is a sell, right? It is turnover, right? So it will be included as a part of aggregate turnover. So you have to include exports here. However, if in a question export is provided, but question asks for GST liability, in that case on exports, GST will be nil. Make sense?
Yep.
Perfect. Now the total of these will be 95 lakhs, which means that he will be eligible for composition levy. Yes, everybody agrees?
No, because he's doing interstate sales. So though he's not reaching the 1.5 crores limit, but still he's not eligible for composite.
Yeah, you are actually right. Not just interstate, but also export. My bad. Yeah, you are absolutely right. So the conclusion should be, so this is the aggregate turnover calculation. The conclusion that I said is absolutely wrong. The conclusion should be, because he is making interstate sale and export also, so he is actually, these two categories, when a person actually is involved in, then the composition levy cannot be applied in spite of their turnover. You are absolutely right. So the conclusion should be, even though the aggregate turnover is less than 1.5 crore, still the composition levy scheme cannot be, he is not eligible for, because he is involved in interstate supply and export. Yes. Yeah.
Good. So if he's doing business within the intrastate or within state, and if there's no export, then he is eligible, right?
Yes, then he is eligible. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So even if you are making a sale of 10 lakhs only, okay, only 10 lakhs, but those are interstate, you are not allowed.
Why is so?
Because they are expecting, so this composition levy scheme is primarily for those small vendors, by coincidence only their income is going above the limit for application of GST. So this is a relaxation for them, so that they don't have to bother about all the, how do you say, administrative stuff. Now, when we talk about small vendors, do you expect a small vendor to deal with interstate transaction? Manufacturing in one state but selling in another state. Will they be considered as a small vendor? No, right? So that is the purpose. Will a small vendor export certain goods to out of country? No, right? So this
in that case, so go ahead.
So that's what this is only meant for those small vendors who are just, by coincidence only their turnover is increasing beyond the what do you say, the limit for GST application, but we do not want them to be caught with a lot of administrative stuff, a lot of returns and all that, the what do you say, charges by the experts on GST and all. To just file return there, they have to pay a lot of fee. So we want that they don't have to face those challenges. So this is the facility that is provided only for the small vendors. Yeah.
So hypothetical example, like there might be chance for intra-state, the amount might be less than 1.5 crore. So he's liable, like might be like 95 lakhs, or maybe he may reach to 1.5 crores also. Like hypothetical example, as you said, like then he is eligible for composition levy scheme, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And you said
Otherwise,
he's involved in intrastate only, right?
Correct, intrastate.
Yeah, correct. Sure.
So usually they don't reach. That is the reason they had said that limit like 1.5.
Correct.
But usually they may reach like 50 lakhs or 40 lakhs, whatever it may be. So still they can eligible for composite levy.
Correct. Small restaurants or even restaurants with 2-3 chains, right? They even on them also this is very beneficial. They're more focused on their business. They don't want to focus on the GST returns, and in fact GST returns are so cumbersome. You have to, definitely lesser cumbersome than what was before, when the excise and VAT and every state had their own VAT that was there, but still it is too much even now for a small vendor like that. 2-3 branches of a restaurant is there, and they're just focusing on their own operation. When will they get time to have these done? Filing returns and all that. They hire somebody, they are charging a heavy amount on them. Now, so they can easily go for this composition levy, where only I think per year one return has to be filed, similar to how we file for our tax returns, income tax returns, and they can carry on with it. Yeah. And also complications are less, because they don't have to go transaction by transaction. They just have to determine how much is our turnover, final turnover for this year. They apply that rate and they pay the tax. That's all. Final, done. But here, however, every transaction we have to now look for how much, what is it, a composite supply, is it a mixed supply, how much is the rate. Every transaction we'll have to calculate the tax, receive it from the buyer. We have to deposit to the government every month. If we don't deposit, then there is another consequence, and all that comes into picture.
True.
Yeah.
So Dheeraj, if you don't mind, I think we are left with only one problem, which is solved by. So can we quickly wrap up that in 10 minutes? Is it possible?
No, I'm actually not prepared for that. Also, I have some other things at 7 o'clock.
No worries.
So we'll wind up now.
Sure.
So that question and the 7th question, the Dheeraj question, I'll have, and we'll discuss it later. Maybe
sure.
night.
No worries.
Little late. Anybody who is interested, please join. Even one person, I'll carry on with it. Others can see the video. Not a problem. Before we wind up, any questions, please, on this? Okay, fine then. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Dheeraj.
Catch up later.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dheeraj. Bye.